Hey everybody, welcome back to another very special episode of Arcade Laboratories. I'm really excited about this video. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. So this is going to be a preview of Frankencade's Ghettofluke. And I don't know if you guys know about Frankencade. Frankencade is ran by a guy named Steve, and he's been a software developer for almost 30 years, and he's one of the best repairmen that I know. And we are getting busy. So I met him. We do a lot of projects and fixes together. And he has been developing a test set called the Ghettofluke. So it's a test set up like the Fluke 1090A, where you interface with your PCB boards or vintage computer boards, anything Z80, 8088 or 6502. It is a all-in-one computer that has all of your ROM scripts, RAM scripts, and already pre-programmed. You interface in on your board, and you run your test, you get your results, and you kind of go from there. But I'm really excited about this one, and we're going to be doing a preview. I say preview because I have an early prototype Ghettofluke here with me here in Thailand, and the new one right now is being developed, and it's the new version is going to be awesome. But we're going to take a look at the prototype board Ghettofluke. I think this is version, the hardware version is 0.16. The software version is 0.18. But you'll get a general idea of the Ghettofluke, and this is posted up on his site. And I think how it's going to work is, I don't think there's going to be any more support for this version, because here recently he's updated the hardware and software. So once we get in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So anyway, check out Frankencade.com. I'll put the link below. He's got some other products that I'm going to be reviewing, and I'm really grateful to be working with Steve and Frankencade. I think it's a great product, and also being able to be a vendor, help him get this out on the market, and with the customer support that will ensue after the initial release. I'm really happy. Okay, so enough of me. Let's get down and dirty and look at this Ghettofluke. Okay, let's get in the zone here. So yeah, I'm back in my bench. I'm back in my original habitat here in Thailand, like for my day job. So back on a new bench. I'm always changing benches, but we are always busy at Arcade Laboratories. I have to say, Steve over at Frankencade, you want to talk about a busy guy? I don't know how he does it. I deal with a day job and stuff like that, but he's doing repairs, he's developing, he's doing his day job and his family. Just an incredible guy, and I think we're two peas in a pod, because he believes in high quality like I do with anything. So everything is designed with quality in mind. Okay, enough of that. So we got to move on. I don't want this to be a too long of a video. So here we have the Ghettofluke. So this is what the Ghettofluke right now, well, at this prototype kind of looks like. We have some buttons. We have a left and a right, an enter and an alt button. And when we run through the menu, you'll kind of see a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and power this down so we can kind of flip it around. So I do have a jumper in here. It's this is not going to be in the, I have a little problem with my resistor. I think my reset resistor went bad on this board. So I'm just using a little jumper cable. Okay, so let's look at the processor there. So that guy is an Atmega 2560 controller board. So he's been really big into developing these, adding libraries, software, for your controls, and it's going to contain all of the software for the game ROMs, the game maps, and stuff like that. So I'm just running a regular LCD screen. Steven's prototype has an OLED, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But you can see, even on this version, there's not very many parts. We have resistors. We have a pull-up resistor. We actually have let's call it the CPU, the Atmega 2560. We have a clock. We have our power terminal. We have our 40-pin socket. We talked about being able to put a ZIF here, and I was originally going to prototype this build out with the ZIF, and I may do that in the future, but it will depend on your cable. So we'll look at the cable too, but keep this in mind. This is all prototype stuff. This is not a finished product. So that is about it for the hardware. Just a board, and then, you know, the bottom we have not too much going on down here. You know, just our micro switches, our JTAG board. This is going to be used for updating software, which for the consumer or people who buy this thing, we're going to be upgrading or uploading games as required, I guess. So they're going to either be periodical, either by time or just by volume. You know, if we get a bunch of new games ready to download or customer request, we can go that route too. The 4 holes for the LED standoff, and for now we do have just a bottom case. You know, the sky's the limit on packaging this thing, if in a case or whatever. Okay, so that's the hardware part of it. Just a pretty simple board, really. Not a lot to it. Okay, so let's look at the software. So we're gonna power this thing in. So this is a USB 3.0. I have it actually plugged into my O-scope USB. So let's zoom in here, and I'm gonna try to make a real nice video here. Okay, so again, keep in mind, guys, this is complete prototype. So we see our version down here, version 0.16, and now we're plugged in, powered up, and we see our Ghettofluke version 0.18 pod menu. So right now we're at our pod menu. So how this is going to differ from the Fluke 1090A is there's no pods required. So I'm going to use our left and right. Let's just go through 80, 88, and I won't buy it, and I won't buy it again, and a 6502. So right now those two libraries are empty. They were just dropped in to expand on, and that's the cool thing about the Atmega 2560. You don't need a different pod. You just change your pinouts and your requirements, like your interrupts, your watchdog, your resets, your address and data bus lines is all defined with software. Now going to the bigger CPUs, the 6800 series, something that's something Steve is looking at, that might, he's saying is definitely can happen. I don't know how close that is to being dropped, but I do know the 6502, the 8088, anything 40 pin based is going to be pretty big. We're going to have a pretty full library right out of the gate. So pretty simple menu. So let's go to the Z80 menu. We're going to push enter. Now that we're in our library of supported games. So right now on this build, we have Berserk, Carnival, Frenzy, Frogger Soundboard, Midway, 2 different versions of Galaxian, or Galaga Midway, and Galaxian Midway, another version, Gorf, Hangley Man, different versions, Miss Pac Boot, Pac-Man, Pole Position Atari, Pole Position 2, Atari and Namco, and looks like another I'm not familiar with that version, but it's on here. Yeah, Spy Hunter, Super Miss Pac-Man, Wizard of War, and exit. So we could hit enter and go back to the main menu. Or let's just get set up, because I have on the bench a Miss Pac-Man boot that we're going to demonstrate ROM and RAM tests with. So we'll just get it set up for here. Now let's go ahead and, I mean, it's pretty simple. So I'll tell you, since this is a preview, the new version, oh, it's going to be so sweet, guys. The new version, he added encoders. And when I'm talking added encoders, I'm talking legit encoder action. One click, one turn of the menu. It is so responsive, it's unreal. You could just take and spin the new version encoders to navigate the menu. It's going to be really great. And we talk about the other updates when we get connected. Other features that are coming. This is just an early version. I think this is version like the third one. This is like the third prototype. I have an early one too. That's pretty awesome, but I don't have it here. So this is the cable I built, guys. So also Frankencade provides the adapter boards needed. So we have a 40-pin IDE cable, that's going to make, kind of looks like that. So you get your IDE socket in there, solder it in, and then your 40-pin socket. So I imagine we're still working on this. I have some really good ideas. So I used larger header pins that were too large for the through hole, but I just soldered them in anyway. Then I have my sacrificial 40-pin socket in there, and that's gonna how I interface at the moment. I think these are gonna get revised too. I think we're always gonna have sacrificial sockets, but I think I'm gonna use like a machine pin, just a machine 40-pin regular socket here, maybe a machine socket here, and then a sacrificial. And then this is pretty much a 1/2 meter long cable. And this is another advantage over kind of the Ghettofluke, or not the Ghettofluke, the regular Fluke 1090A. The pod ribbon cables are so touchy with noise interference, skewing your test results. There's no skewed test results from EMI on this thing. And my next video, I'm going to get a 1 meter long cable just to prove that there's no data loss in a long cable. So you could be interfaced in with your cable with your board on the bench, and then have your Fluke actually kind of way off to the side. So let me show you what I have. Our test subject. We have a Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man boot. So we're running boot, not bootleg, but modified ROMs in, what is it? It's M through E, 6E through 6M, modified ROMs. Now the Fluke, the Ghettofluke is just like the 1090A Fluke, where you're still not going to be able to access video RAM, character ROMs that are behind muxers, buffers, or on other address or data bus lines. That's nothing new. So anything that you can access with the 1090A, it pretty much still operates the same way. You're just accessing data and address bus lines here at your Z80, at your CPU. Then you can interface through your proper address. So let's go ahead and get cabled up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we all cabled up now, and you can see we have garbage on the screen, which makes sense because we are now interfaced. We are now interfaced with the Ghettofluke. Okay, so we have the Ghettofluke in place of the CPU. And okay, so I'm on my test already. Let's boot ROM 1, which is 6E, and let's test it. There you go. Expected and actual. There's your checksum, and you could run that in the hamster ID, and it will check out. So let's hit enter. Let's do another one. ROM 2. Okay, so another feature's coming on the next one. I talked to Steve about. So that now the next one is going to have added information. So on the current revision, the one that's probably going to get the most support out of the gate, is going to show your address range. Because for troubleshooters, repairman, and even with the original Fluke, you enter everything in. You look at your memory map, and 000 to 01 FFF. You put in your ranges, and then so when you get on your board, that gives you the ability. Then when you get on your board, you kind of know where your addresses are. You know what chip selects. You know what read write enables. You kind of know a little bit more in depth by knowing the address range. So it's kind of the same here, something that we talked about that's getting added in. So it's going to have, the new version is going to have your address range and your ROM location. So that'll be great. So you'll see, your range and your location. So, okay, let's just run it again. Let's run it a few times. I'll show you guys. This thing is pretty stable. One thing to note, you do have to have ground. It's got to be grounded. It has to be grounded to your board ground. Without that thing, actually, let's take the ground off. I'll show you. Without a ground, it's going to get a little bit funky, a little bit weird. Well, I guess not. Made a liar out of me. Maybe it's more on the RAM test. Still testing. Maybe that was on an earlier revision, but I'm going to put my ground there anyway, because that's how I've been doing it. So let's run this a few more times just to show the consistency. Awesome. Okay, so let's go to ROM 3. Okay, and another thing about the prototype on this particular board, the yellow light runs, and on the finished board too. On the next rev, the yellow light is like for running, the green light indicates good, and the red light will indicate bad. And the blue light indicates that your alt function is pushed. I don't think this has an alternate ROM. That's just for only for RAM. All right, let's do another ROM. I mean, it's just that quick. Reading the contents, giving you your checksum. It's awesome. Let's do one more. Expected and actual. So, okay, so again, how this is working. The pretty much call it like your memory map and your ROM information is all programmed, scripted inside of the CPU, inside of the software. So with that being said, like anytime that games are added, be it arcade games or vintage boards or whatever, they have the software has to be revised every time. So but it's easy. That's part of what we're wanting to do, or at least Steven, he plans to support this after it's sold, to put out periodic software updates. It's going to be a lot of user feedback too, like from the users, from the community. If we have somebody really keen and tests a lot of certain boards, that's we can put that in. We can put that in, or Steve can put that in and re-release it. It's awesome. So, Okay, so let's do the ROM 5. Pretty consistent. You know, we have a good cable, pretty solid. So let's back out of this. We don't need to do 6. Let's exit. Exit, please. Prototype, okay? So ROM, let's go to the pack boot RAM. Okay, so what are our options here? We have video RAM, color RAM, scratch RAM. So I think all the RAMs start at like 7000. Let's do video RAM. Okay, so 2 different things. Oh, so as we're running the video RAM, let's take a look at our screen so you can see. So basically what's happening, we're reading and writing. We're reading, I think, what did he set up? 0F and no, EF and FE. So it's just going to write a pattern. It's going to write in and read out like a chip tester, like a RAM chip tester would do. Basically, it's not running. Okay, see, that one came back good already. So let's run that again. Video RAM. Let's show you kind of the real time on checking that range. So I think that's actually two RAMs is checking in that range, and it's good. Let's do it again. And again, so the next version is going to show the RAM range and the RAM location. So right now it's at don't read too much into the 000 stuff. Just a prototype. Okay, good. Okay, so let's get over and let's do the color RAM. And then if we check out the board or the screen, so same deal. Reading and writing 2 different values. Color RAM. I don't know if that's just picking the blue from the palette or whatnot, but that's what we have there. So this is, very, it's a very nice tool. And I know Steve has fixed all kinds of boards with his prototypes. He's fixed so many. Just hook it up, boom, find the bad RAM, bad ROM, off you go. And then, from there, your bad logic surrounding that. Okay, so let's just run that color RAM again. Kind of show you in real time how long it takes. Boom, good. And let's move on to scratch RAM. I'm not going to put bad RAM in here just to show you that it fails. But I guarantee you, if we had bad RAM in there, it would catch it. 100% would catch it. And I'm not going to prove it, but we are going to do something else here in a minute. Scratch RAM. Let's just run it again. Yeah, it's kind of, for somebody watching this saying, oh, it's not showing what range or what it's reading and writing. I guarantee you it is running an algorithm in the back, much like a RAM tester, having an address, range, reading and writing values. And so you're checking, so you have your inputs and your outputs being tested. Okay, so let's do a little something different here. I'm going to show you guys the shift or alt button. I'm not sure what Steve is actually calling this. So let's turn that on. So now think of the Ghettofluke 9010A, long RAM, short RAM. So that was like a short RAM. This is going to be a long RAM. And I think we're going to start this. It's going to, I don't know, I may cut until it's finished because it's going to take like 10 minutes. So let's do our scratch RAM, alt, and now, oops, wrong button. Now watch what happens. So now we're actually going to see values. We're going to see the volumes, or there we go. Now we're going to see what is being written and read at what address range. So, okay, I was wrong. So it's A5 and 5A. So we're writing those two over and over. I was going to get my Fluke, my scope out and show you, but you just have to take my word for it. If we were to get on to the scratch RAM, let's see. I think they're all three up here, right? Got 2, 2, and 2. You can probe on the chip select and watch, and you can go around and you can probe your address lines and watch everything kind of toggle. I already talked to Steve. There's but I'm like, oh, Steve, you don't have a short RAM. It don't have a bus short test. This thing don't have a looping function. But with that being said, I think he's gonna develop and put in some generic patterns where you can run kind of like this. You could actually start probing around on your logic upstream and downstream of your test. So if it's had bad logic or bad RAM, you're gonna see some different stuff here. Okay, so that's gonna run for a while. So I think I'm through my list of everything that I wanted to talk about. I did want to, as wanting to help get this out onto the market. I think we're going to take a little bit of time here. I think when I edit, and we're gonna do some comparisons, size and weight comparisons. I mean, just the benefits of the Ghettofluke, even without all those other functions, like the two big ones I use, bus short. It checks for shorts in your address and data bus lines, and looping, so you can put in a range and just loop it while you probe around or whatnot. But the bread and butter of the Fluke has always been checking your ROM, checking your RAM, having access to those address ranges. So let's let this thing run a while, because I think I'm just gonna let this run a while. And then off to the side, we'll do the comparison of length, width, height, and of each of the Ghettofluke. I mean, this thing weighs like maybe a pound. Ghettofluke without looking, or the regular Fluke it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, and just huge. You got to have that. You have to make room for your Fluke, and you're also limited by the length of your pod. Where this is a 0.5 meter long. So this is 500 centimeters, or about a little over a foot, probably about 1.5 feet long without, the strain relief loops there. But I think we can go a full meter. We can have distance between our board and our test equipment here. So let's just watch this thing. I think when I go to edit, I'm going to put some pros and cons up to the side. I'll let that. Let's just watch that thing tick away for a while. I don't know the address range end off the top of my head. I did have them written down the other day, or at least pulled up. So we'll watch this thing. We'll look at some comparisons here. And I think I made it through everything on my list I wanted to talk about. Yeah, just an incredible machine. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. I can't wait to get the new one. So today is, what is today? The 12th? No, the 15th. Today is July 15th. I should be getting the updated one like in 2 weeks. So by August, look for another video, or hit me up in the email or in the comment section, and yeah, tell me what you think. What other features would you like to see on this? What are the pros and cons in your mind? I think this is going to hit the market for around $600. But again, $600. That's not this one. This is a prototype. I'm talking with the encoders, nice full library, and with all the support, it's coming. I think we're going to be about $600. So, assembled or not assembled, there's not going to be much assembly on the new one. Everything is surface mount. I think there's going to be very little soldering or assembly on the newest Rev. Cables, still kind of up in the air. I'm not sure if that entry price is going to include a cable or just the adapter boards. I would like to build and test, like, if as a vendor, I know when I sell these, I can just tell you, I don't know about from Frankencade, but these are going to be listed on my site as a vendor. I'm going to sell them as a kit, already pre-assembled and fully tested. I think you can get the bare boards maybe from Frankencade, but I don't want to sell anything disassembled or not tested. I mean, that's the point of Arcade Laboratory. When I send these out, it's probably the people I know or will be knowing and get to know and feedback the user, what their experiences are, are definitely going to go into the later revisions of this thing. We want this thing to be awesome, and we want this to be a test set that you can be confident in, because at our level, I mean, knowing your test equipment is just a big thing. So you can kind of see, comparatively, size-wise on your bench, it's awesome. So I think we're going to pause here. When I go back to do the editing, I'll put, some comparisons, pros and cons, but let me know down below in the comments. Talk to me about this. I want to know what you guys think. I think you guys are going to think it's pretty interesting. It's pretty awesome, but other features for sure. Or what games, right from the get-go. What games do you want on here? Let us know before this first revision hits the market. And let's see what you guys got to hear. That's probably I'm probably going to put that first. I'm going to put it up in there. What games do you guys want on this? We can pull the memory maps and get those scripts in there now for you guys. So, excuse me, I'm talking a lot. So this also didn't talk about your upgrading. So to upgrade this thing, you're going to need an Adreno. I can't remember if it's the Adreno Mega, and an interface cable to do the software upgrades. Software upgrades means like game library upgrades. So all that's going to be supported for you guys as well. How to do it, the instructions. I am actually writing a tech manual, the instruction manual for this, operator manual. So we want to support you guys in whatever you need, to have this be a valuable part of your bench setup and a trusted piece of equipment. So I think that took me through everything. We kind of covered the test set as what it is, affordable, low price entry for ROM and RAM testing. We went through the hardware, the board, the connector, the software. We did the menu. We did some demonstration, how to test ROMs, how to test RAMs, and the expected results. Pretty much just a good, bad. I will pause. I won't end this here. I will pause this to the end so you can see the long RAM finish. But I don't think you guys want to see this thing count for like another 10 or 15 minutes. Because test results, it's a test set, right? Well, you need to be confident what you are testing and your results, so you can get on your board and get it repaired and back in your arcade making money as soon as possible. So, okay, that's enough of me talking. I'm going to pause. Actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to zoom in, see where we are. We're at 4FA, 8, 9, almost to 4. We're going to pause here, and I'm going to come back and show you what this looks like after the long RAM test. Okay, well, I should have just left it rolling. It was almost done. So it comes up good. The alt light is still on. So let's hit the menu. I don't know if we get any more information. Nope. No more information at this time after a long RAM test, other than that it's good. So there we go, guys. I think we're going to finish it up there. Thanks for watching. Hey, let me show you guys. I've got, I got 2 other things I'm going to be doing for him. I have an RGB amplifier board for RGB mods, CRT RGB mods, built by Frankencade by Steven. A really awesome mod. I've seen some of his CRTs when he used that. Looks phenomenal because you can adjust your voltages. Another sneak peek. I'm not all about, I love my classic repairs. Don't hate on me, guys. But Frankencade's Pi 2 JAMA that we're going to be reviewing. This is another really nice piece because of the scaling and aspecting that went into this, and custom Pi configuration files. This thing is awesome. This thing is awesome. Hey, we got to keep arcades going. We got to, pass this stuff on to the next generation. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to deal with modernized our gaming, which I'm okay with. I love vintage. And here's a reset circuit used for MCR games that have the reset circuits built into their power supply. MCR games, I think Carnival. So we're going to be doing some stuff with this too. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching about the Ghettofluke. I hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you next time.